Well, thank you for joining us. My name is Tim Weisheyer. I have the pleasure of serving as the 2025 President of Florida Realtors, and it's certainly my pleasure to be at Florida Realtors Live again, and we have an esteemed panel that I'll be interviewing and spending some time with today. I want to thank you for joining us, logging in, and watching all that's taking place with our annual convention right here in Orlando, Florida. So let me go ahead and get right to it and introduce who I'll be interviewing and having a conversation with today. First is the one and only Kevin Brown. Kevin Brown is the 2025 President-elect of the National Association of Realtors. He is the broker-owner of Better Homes Realty and Brown Commercial Investment Services. I also am honored to be joined by Asa Fleming. Asa is a 2026 NAR Vice President of Advocacy and a realtor at Allen Tate Realty in Raleigh-Glenwood, North Carolina. And then, of course, the one and only from Florida herself, Miss Christine Hansen, the 2025 NAR First Vice President and broker-owner of Century 21 Hansen Realty in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Thank you guys all for being with us today. And let me just say thank you for your leadership, not just in your respective states and what you've done over the many years, but thank you for your leadership at the National Association of Realtors. As the President of Florida, I understand the partnership that we enjoy between Florida Realtors and the National Association, and you guys are doing the real work, and we're grateful for that. So we're going to go ahead and get right into it. Kevin, I'm coming to you first.
All right.
All right, I know you're not scared and you can handle it. So Kevin, as the President-elect of the National Association of Realtors, you're certainly stepping into this role at a very pivotal time, a time of intense change. A lot of things taking place at the National Association of Realtors, and as you've continued to lead over the last number of years and getting ready to come into your presidency in 2026, I'd love to talk with you a little bit about what you see taking center stage and what it is you're really focused on as we continue to move into the next year.
Thanks for the question, Tim. We are going to take NAR in 2026 to the next level by getting back to business. What does that mean? It means that we're going to be focusing on the issues that impact our members out in the marketplace when they're trying to sell real estate, like financing, insurance, zoning, restrictive regulations, inventory, anything that is a barrier to home ownership. We're going to be tackling those things to help our members in the field. We're going to also treat this organization with the ethos of a large enterprise company, one that is efficient, effective, and that's focusing on growth. And I think that we are going to we just don't want to meet our members' expectations. We want to exceed them. So we are focusing in on the things that are going to help the members on the ground floor. We also have several things that we're working on, like a strategic plan and so forth, that we plan on implementing later on this year. So those are the things that we're working on in 2026.
Excellent. Well, you know, I've had the honor of working with you personally for a number of years. I've seen firsthand your dedication, your leadership, your vision, and your strength. And I could say without any hesitation that I'm proud that you'll be our president in 2026. I know that you will lead us into the direction we need to do, the place that we need to go, and to make the differences we need to make. And I'm excited, in truth, for your leadership next year.
Thank you. And just to add on to that, we're also leveling up on areas that our members already are benefiting from, like our tremendous advocacy program, and the things that our members already are getting in terms of our data and information, our resources, including technology. We're going to need our members' help. We want feedback from our members. I mean, one of our greatest strengths is that we are a member-led organization, and we want to hear from our members. We have a lot of new programs we're going to be rolling out. We want to know what's working and what's not working.
Right. Yep. Well, we appreciate you. I'm going to move down the line a little bit here and have a conversation with the rest of you. Asa, maybe I'm saving the best for last, and I'm coming to you after Christine. So Christine, you're a Florida girl. We love you. We're excited about what you're doing and about the opportunities you're going to continue to have to lead at the national level. We got to hear from Kevin about what's going to take place in 2026. As you prepare for 2027, you're really the next future of the National Association of Realtors. And you have time to think and prepare about what it is that you can get ready for. Talk to me a little bit about that and what you see on the horizon as we continue to move forward.
Thank you, Tim. You know, I'm extremely lucky because I get to serve with this leadership team. So it really is creating and setting such a strong, solid foundation for us just to continue to move forward and elevate. We're really focusing on prioritizing and clarifying stronger relationships, building the relationships that we need, that we want to have before we truly need them. There's a few different things. We went around and they spoke and listened to over 75,000 of our members to really listen. What are we getting right? What aren't we getting right? And what are the needs of the members right where they're at? And that led us to be able to have a new and improved, as you know, strategic plan. Again, the CEO, Nakia Wright, and the senior consultant, Sherry Chris, went around and they have spoken to 49 of the brokers that had been carved out of the settlement, not only once, but multiple times, to really hear what their needs are and their members and their agents' needs. So it's listening constantly. The other piece of that is they're going to have another meeting. It is October 13th and 14th, inviting those brokers in to, again, further look at, here's our strategic plan that all of you are going to enjoy that's rolling out in the fall of this year. And the other piece of that is Nakia has brought on Jared Grasso, who had been the CEO of the New Jersey Realtors. He now is working with the associations and the AEs to, again, see what they need at a state and local level to solidify that three-way agreement, to make things stronger, to have a robust relationship. It goes back. I think I'm going to continue, and the theme will be communication and relationship building. So we're having tons of broker summits right now. Nationally, they're having over 50. So we're moving in to really hone in back to businesses. President Kevin Seema is going to be also enhanced member value and what they need to, because we're in a tough market. And so what is it that we can do to help build their business and move forward? Communicating with the members is extremely huge. We talked a little bit about advocacy, and that really is the health of the economic growth. What can we do to make sure that we maintain and stay the voice? All of the things that I'm mentioning are building that platform. So in 2027, as we move forward, we're just going to take that and try to go one step further and try to be that advocate, not only for our members, but for all the communities that we serve.
Excellent. Well, number one, thank you for that answer, and also thank you for walking through the many parts of that. I love what you talk about with the relationship. The relationship between the local association, the state association, and with the brokerage community is incredibly important. I want to echo what you said with Nakia and what she's been doing and how she's been really shepherding the National Association as a partner with you guys and all the decisions that you're making to make sure we set the stage correctly. And I think something that's really important for people to know and understand is even though the National Association of Realtors has had to navigate some challenges over the last couple of years, I've had the honor of sitting in the room with every one of you guys and watch you and listen to you make the decisions that need to be made. And as a almost 30-year realtor myself, I can say I'm proud to be a part of the National Association of Realtors, and I'm proud of the work that I've witnessed all of you guys doing at the national level to strengthen the work we're doing here at the state level, and certainly that all of our local associations are doing as well. I think you hit the nail on the head when you said relationships. Everyone within this ecosystem understands it's the connection, the relationship between all of us that's strengthening who we are and unifying our voice in a really effective way.
Absolutely, and we're not letting go of the gas. We're going to continue to push through. And one thing that I said was, all of our members, all of you, don't wake up thinking about NAR. But I can assure you that all of us wake up every morning thinking about our members.
Yeah, well, and I've seen that too. I don't know the number, but I've heard these reports about you guys are meeting like every day, every week, every minute, every hour. I don't even know what it is. I know how busy it is to be the president of the state association. I can only imagine how much time you guys are dedicating to this association and the 1 million+ members that depend on us every single day across the United States. I want to talk about that unification. Your work has been heavy in the advocacy side. You've been a champion across the United States for making sure that we're protecting and preserving private property rights, and you're sitting to make sure that the economic landscape is set up effectively for all members across the United States to not just survive, but to thrive as real estate professionals. the National Association of Realtors is the strong voice when it comes to real estate in the United States, and you're one of the leaders of that. Talk to us about your work and what you've been doing over the last number of years to make sure that we remain so relevant in the conversation.
Oh, absolutely. So first of all, thank you for inviting me to be here. It's an honor to speak with Kevin and Christine on this live stream. I think, serving on disbursements over the past few years has been just an honor. I've gotten to see how the sausage is made. And so, affordability, supply, pressing issues for our members. And so we can do impactful work when it comes to that. And one of the ways that we do that is through our community outreach grants and issues mobilization grants, where we help local and state associations kind of attack affordability and the supply issues. Right here in Florida, Miami, they applied for a community outreach grant that they had shipping containers. They wanted to use shipping containers to kind of address affordability.
Right.
And when they were doing that, they actually uncovered regulatory barriers that would cost, just increase the cost, let me say that, to build affordable housing. And so little things like that on the local, level really helps us bring down the cost. It actually changed some legislation down there where we were able to lower the cost for homeowners and make it more affordable. Out in Oregon, I remember in Oregon we had some zoning and permitting issues out there. And as someone that has served on my local planning board for the last 10 years, zoning and permitting, it's a problem, And so they used an issues mobilization grant to kind of fight these issues, and they actually won theirs as well, and it decreased the amount of regulatory barriers that we have to create affordable housing. The last thing I'll say is, this whole we've partnered up, the National Association of Realtors, with National League of Cities, National Home Builders, to actually attack, try to make a dent on some of the strategies. And we kind of scaled about 40 strategies in order to increase affordability and increase supply. And so the National Association of Realtors is doing their best to keep that at the forefront, and we're going to be making sure the members are aware of it.
Well, thank you. And you know what I like the most about your answer is really where you started. It's not that the last part wasn't good, but it was the point that you made so real and so relevant for our members that are watching this live stream right now, is sometimes people don't know how to make the connection point between what they do as a member, what their local association's doing, and then jumping over us and thinking about the National Association. So my instinct would have been you would have talked about the difference in the policy work at the United States Congress,
right,
and what you guys are doing with the administration and what you're doing with the various departments and agencies that oversee our industry.
Right.
But the way you made the connection back to what happens right here at hometown for every single member is incredibly important. And so often people think, well, I don't understand the United States Congress. I don't understand what you guys are doing at the national level. But the way you just articulated is that what you're doing at the national level is supporting the work that we're doing here at the state level and at the local level, and helping provide access to remove barriers for housing, growth, opportunity, development, and ultimately success for all the members that you guys represent at the national level. Love the way you told that story.
Yeah, thank you.
Absolutely. Kevin, I think you brought your crystal ball with you. Did you not?
I did.
think I asked you to bring your crystal ball. Yeah.
I did.
So you think about, here we are, we're still in 2025. You're the president starting in 2026. For many people, that may seem like it's really far away, but the truth of it is it's right around the corner, and time goes really fast.
Yeah.
So when you start looking forward to the end of your presidency, that's your crystal ball moment. What is it that you would like to see the National Association of Realtors look like? Or how is it that you would like to help the organization be even stronger as you pass the baton ultimately to Christine to carry that forward? What is 2026 going to look like, and what's the end of it going to look like?
Well, that we've helped our members, actually help them in their day-to-day business, like some of the things that I talked about when you asked me the first question, some of the issues that are impacting them in their day-to-day business. We actually have accomplished that goal. Secondly, that we are protecting the industry. The industry is being attacked from a lot of different angles, and we have to be able to protect them. So we will have accomplished that. And third is our partnership with our partners within the industry, big brokers and others. We need to forge those relationships and allow them to grow and benefit from from NAR. So if we can accomplish those three goals, I think we're going to be in a good spot. We also have the strategic plan. We'll be well into it. And a long time ago, a few years back, we discovered that we were too outwardly focused. We need to refocus internally on our members. We're a consumer-centric organization, but we also need to be member-centric.
Right.
So we need to refocus on our members internally. Christine mentioned the 75,000 members that we received input from. That is a very important step from us because we really got a clear look and view of what our members want and need. So around that, we put together 9 initiatives, and we will be well into those initiatives or accomplish them and they put them into place. And I just want to take a second and read them to you. So the 9 initiatives are delivering market trend research, advancing business-centric tools, elevating education event offerings, amplifying the advocacy impact, elevating the realtor brand, being the first voice in real estate, rebuilding partnership foundations, centralizing relationship management, creating value business solutions. So we're going to be using metrics to track whether or not we're accomplishing our goals, how our members are reacting to this, how our partners and big brokers are reacting to our performance, so we can make those micro adjustments along the way. So if we can accomplish all those things, I think we're going to be in a good spot.
Excellent. So one of the things, and you and I have had this conversation, but one of the things that I like about you and I respect about you so much is that you're very disciplined and very focused, and you're very business-minded. And I say all the time, people didn't join the Realtor Association because they needed a new friend. They joined because we're the voice of real estate, because we're a business organization, because we're a professional trade association. And what a lot of times people don't understand is how large and how complex the National Association of Realtors really is. And even just you walking through those 9 points makes it very clear to the members that you guys are focusing on the core issues that you've identified. When you strip away everything else that happens, these are the 9 areas that we want to focus on, and these are the things that we know we have to move the needle on. And it doesn't surprise me that you did that, being the type of leader you are, because I know you'll be very intentional in 2026 of systematically moving through each one of those to make sure we're setting the organization up for a great position in the end.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I really think that, our members today, the market's changed, right? They're focused on their business, hence our theme, back to business.
Right.
We want to focus on our members' business to make sure they're successful within their business, whether it's some of the problems they're encountering in the marketplace or whether or not they want to go up to the next tier in terms of making income or start their own brokerage. We want to be able to provide those resources to the members. We want to be the place, the home base for our members when the true north when they think about real estate.
Excellent. I love it. Asa, I'm going to come to you. We think about what Kevin just said and creating the opportunity for members to succeed. Part of that is removing barriers to real estate opportunity. So we're always looking at the tax and the regulatory environment, and certainly there's a conversation taking place with capital gains and capital gains exemptions in the United States, and how long and outdated that conversation really is, and how you guys are leading the way of making sure that we have that conversation in Washington, D.C. about reforms. Maybe talk about some of the things you're working on from an advocacy, regulatory, and even tax policy standpoint to position not just our members well, but in truth, the entire real estate market across the United States in a better position.
Absolutely. So, NAR has been laser focused on tax reform. You had the one big, beautiful bill, right, as they call it. But, what we're trying to do is make sure that people have the ability to save on the amount of taxes that they're spending. And so what we fought for with that, and months and years went into this, is, permanent business qualified income reduction. We want to make sure that stays there, quadrupling the state and local taxes, protecting the mortgage interest deduction, and just making sure that we protect that state and local taxes as well, that deduction, make sure that it's not hit. And to speak to the capital gains, that we've really been working hard on that. There's an estimated maybe 29 million homeowners in this area that they're just sitting on a lot of equity.
Yeah.
And what is it, about a 28-year type of threshold that they've had this, I think 500,000 threshold. That prices have tripled in the last 28 years. And so even me personally, I've had a client who, bought the house for $500,000, 20 years ago, now sitting at $2 million. And so when you look at that 1.5 million, let's say in profit, you only really have that exemption up until the 500. So that really causes a lot of homeowners to just sit there and say, hey, I'm not going to move.
Yep.
And so what we've been trying to do through some new bills, more homes tax, trying to eliminate the capital gains tax, is trying to make the market a little bit more open and help people feel comfortable to move so that our young people can get into some homes and people can find it more affordable.
Yeah, and I think one of the connection points that people may sometimes miss, the National Association of Realtors did a study that identified that there is over 5 million homes short of inventory in the United States. And I think I saw a report at one point that said 4.8 million homes, one at 5.5 million. I don't know the official NAR number, but what I know is that it's a real number. It's a big number. 4.7 million. Okay. So there's 4.7 million too few homes in the United States. Then you think about the fact that people are sitting on equity that they've accumulated through hard work, discipline, and focus. And now they're saying, I want to sell, but if I sell, I get hit with this major tax implication.
Right.
And what people sometimes take for granted is that the mortgage interest deduction still exists because of the National Association of Realtors. Flood insurance because of the National Association of Realtors. And now you talk about transforming the conversation with regard to the capital gains exemption. What the National Association of Realtors is not only doing for us as members, but doing for all Americans and all property owners, is reducing the tax burden placed on them and creating a mechanism for them to enjoy their equity, their growth that they've invested their hard-earned money in to get to, and help unlock that. Now that does a couple of things. Number one, it's just good tax policy. It's good business policy. It's good America policy. The second part of it is it deals with the shortage that we have and that you guys have identified across the United States. And so I'll maybe just end by saying thank you. Thank you for the work that you're doing, all of you, but thank you for being one of the main voices and leaders on that at the national level, because so often consumers, homeowners, and even members aren't always paying attention to or aren't always aware of the connection points along the way and what you guys are doing every day to protect them without them even realizing it. I think it's a great opportunity as well to tell all of our listeners to go to NAR.Realtor. I almost did the Florida Realtors website there. I'm so trained on that. Go to NAR.Realtor and look at what it is that the National Association of Realtors is working on with regard to not just this tax policy, but policy and regulation across the board. Christina,
hey,
I'm going to come to you.
Can I just piggyback? I know we're running out of time.
No, we're
something
totally
Asa
fine.
said.
You're the
I think
president. We do whatever you want.
a lot of things that our members don't, and the consumer doesn't really understand how much work it takes to accomplish these tasks.
Yeah.
For tax reform, like we just had, it was a big success for us and the beneficiaries, of course, of the consumer, but also our members. But last year, we had 5,000 meetings with members of Congress. I don't think our members really understand that. How do we do it? We did it with our very robust FPC program, our federal network of federal political coordinators. Each one is assigned to a member of Congress. When the new Congress came in, once we had the elections, the new Congress came into play, then we scheduled meetings with all of them right away. And we have meetings and leading up to the final tax reform debate and discussion and passage. We were there the entire way. We had several tweaks made. There's an enormous amount of energy and effort that goes into this that our members never see.
Yeah, I agree, and I love that 5,000 number because it's something that most people won't think about, and it takes time. I'm going to use a personal story to maybe double down on what you just shared. In the state of Florida, we just eliminated the business rent tax, the sales tax on commercial leases, a major win, a $900 million tax reduction on real estate in the state of Florida. In aggregate, that represents a $2.5 billion tax cut year over year on real estate in Florida. Now that's great, and I hear the applause and I'm happy for them. Clap all you want for tax reform, I love it. But it took us 10 years to do it. It took us 10 years of constantly communicating with two different governors, various speakers, various Senate presidents, various members of the legislature to get there. And what you just articulated is the longevity, the work, and the commitment it takes for us to get these things done. And I think what it also does is it communicates the importance of all of us being engaged. You think about 5,000 meetings, that's great. but there's 1.4, 1.5 million of us. Imagine if we were all engaged in that work. Imagine if we were all traveling up to Tallahassee for my case or to Washington, D.C. for your case, and advancing that even further, and the real impact that we can make if all of us got involved in this work even more. So I appreciate you mentioning that. We're going to start to wind down. Christine, I'm going to end with you as the hometown girl.
Okay.
You ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
So you're obviously dialed into the idea of creating a unified voice for the National Association of Realtors, keeping us together and keeping us strong, and making sure that we all understand the importance of the local, the state, the national organization, and the influence that we have as one united voice for real estate across the United States of America. Share, if you would, with our listeners and our members at home, your thoughts on that and how you plan to lean into that to ensure that we are indeed that one unified, strong voice.
Yeah, I think we're on the road right now, and I think, like we said, I was joking, I was doing a meeting with a bunch of brokers, and I said to them, all right, we're in a safe space, right? How many of you have a gym membership? And people raise their hand. I'm like, okay, how many of you go? Okay, I'm like, just kidding. I said, we're the National Association, you have a membership. And so for us to be able to do all these things that we're talking about today, our members have to participate just as you've just said. So again, being able to have one voice, we're focusing on being able to be the first to tell our story out in the media. We're focusing on being able to change the way that we have our educational events and programs to be able to meet the members where they need. There's so many things with leaning in on research and technology. So I think the communication and the way to really engage with the members is to give them ownership. So we're here sharing, here's the things that we're doing, here's what NAR is doing for you. But then I want to be able to say, but here's our ask, is please, we need you. It's a two-way street. And so just as you've articulated, we want our members to be able to fact find. If you see something and you read something, check and see if it's accurate, if it's true. And if there's something that we're getting wrong, as Kevin started out, talk to us, tell us, hey, we think you're missing the boat. But it's been hard in this type of environment, in this type of society, where you have people that if you disagree, you have to be enemies. And we're not subscribing to that. We won't subscribe to that. We can have healthy disagreements. The leadership team often does. And we're able to vet everything.
Disagreements are good.
Exactly, 100%.
Yeah.
So we can have and vet every issue to the point where then we understand and can come to the best possible decision that we make. So moving forward and thinking about the relevancy of speaking in a unified voice, we can go so far and create that type of a safe, trusted foundation. Our members need to meet us there, and that's our ask, that's my ask, is let's move forward together. Imagine all 1.4 million of us understanding everything that we do from a national level, a state level, and a local level to be able to first earn a living so that we can continue to volunteer, but how amazing it'll be to have the tools that we need to serve our communities and our home buyers and home sellers. It's been said so many times, there is no National Association of Home Buyers and Home Sellers. We are it. So together we're going to succeed, and we need to have that ownership and be able to have that accountability. And that's a passion of mine.
Yeah, well, and it's obvious that it's a passion of yours, and we appreciate you being your passion, because the truth is, what a lot of people don't know is you guys can be back home in your respective areas, your homes and your offices, running your own businesses, but instead you're giving up time to serve the members that sometimes you haven't even met, but you care for and you're working every single day to support. I want to go back to your point about the unified voice, is I recognize that in the age that we live in, with so much information floating around, it's really just speed to headline for so many people,
Yes.
and they're not concerned about accuracy. They're just concerned about making the splash, getting the click, and somehow making themselves feel relevant, even though they're not the true expert on the subject. And I think my message would be to all of our members, pay attention to and engage with the National Association of Realtors. The information that they're putting out is the most important information they'll be looking at on a national level. Florida Realtors leadership team launched an initiative called the Voice of Real Estate in Florida, and reclaiming that in 2025, because we understand having one unified voice in this state is important. Now imagine the scale and imagine the importance of us doing that at the national level. And so I want to thank you guys for sticking it out, for doing the hard work and being committed not just to the organization, but being committed to what the organization represents. It's that unified voice of real estate. that opportunity to support our members, their profession, their ability to thrive and provide for their families, and for them to truly be the embodiment of the American dream, that small business entrepreneurial spirit that realtors live out every single day. I want to say thank you to all of you for your friendship, your work, your support, and your leadership at the National Association of Realtors. Thank you for taking time to be here with us in Orlando, Florida for our conference and our convention. I know you guys will be running around and shaking the hands of members from all across the state of Florida. We're grateful for you guys being here. With that, I'm going to start to wrap up this section of our live. I want to say thank you to all of you for logging in, continuing to follow us. Obviously, we would love to have you here in Orlando with us. So if you're not here this year, make sure you're thinking about how you can register for next year. But stay engaged. We have a series of live interviews that will continue to take place as our conference continues. And for now, I'll sign off and say thank you for the honor of serving as your president in 2025.